What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, January 13th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:17 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some more major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. So, apparently, this morning, there was a third attack on Yemen by Allied forces. Apparently, an anti ship ballistic missile site was hit near the city of Hodeidah, which is the port city in Yemen. That's their main port city. And the U.S. is denying responsibility for it. And U.S. officials are saying they have no idea who was involved in the operation. So, a third attack on Yemen by Allied forces this morning, hitting an anti ship ballistic missile site. And yesterday evening, there was another attack, a small attack by U.S. forces. So things are really escalating in the Middle East. And we also have breaking news that 2 Navy SEALs are missing in the Gulf of Aden after a nighttime boarding operation went wrong, according to 2 U.S. officials. So they were boarding probably one of these Houthi boats, and something happened, and now they're missing. Maybe they got into a shootout with the Houthis or some hijackers and they went overboard, but very sad situation. Keep these men in your prayers. Want to just share this video that was released by Yemeni media showing the aftermath of the U.S. operations in Yemen the last 3 days. So here we have a before and after showing some camps or hangars that just got totally destroyed. So this is the before. They were kind of already destroyed, probably from a few years back when the U.S. launched an operation a few years back. But now they're like totally destroyed, and you can see the black coloration, the charred asphalt. Okay, look at that, guys, just total destruction. And then there's some more before and afters right here. Okay, you can see, I don't know what this is, but you can see before and then after. Okay, you can see that charred ground over there and this huge crater. So whatever this was totally destroyed. Probably a radar site. Looks like some kind of radar site. And then here we have some more destruction. Not sure what this is supposed to be. Looks like some roads or maybe runways, but you can see here's a before and then here's an after. You can see that road or whatever that is, runway, just totally disappears. And then these buildings up at the top, all the way at the top here, you can see that they also get destroyed. Okay, there's nothing left of them. So very interesting. Here's a close-up shot of those buildings. So before and then after, before, after, before, after. Okay, so pretty serious operation by U.S. forces and allied forces against Yemen. A third attack this morning. Here's another before and after. I'm not sure what this is, but you can see something got destroyed here because literally there's nothing left after. Look at that. There's just some craters. Before it looked like there were some buildings, maybe some trucks, and now it's just completely gone. Okay, here's another facility that got destroyed. Look at that. Okay, totally destroyed. So this was a serious operation the last 2 or 3 days that Allied forces have carried out against Yemen. And here we have some footage coming out of St. Petersburg, Russia. There was a massive warehouse that caught fire. Check that out. Massive plume of smoke looking apocalyptic. Look at that, guys. Absolutely insane. And the Yemeni armed forces said they are ready for jihad. They said they are, quote unquote, ready for the battle of the promised conquest and holy jihad. Okay. So the Yemeni armed forces, aka the Houthis, are ready for jihad. And Iran's ambassador to the United Nations warned that any country participating in attacks on Houthis will be considered a legitimate target for the Houthis. And Germany is planning to send the frigate Hesse to the Red Sea to participate in a military operation to intercept missiles and drones of the Yemeni Houthis. According to the Welt newspaper, the frigate is scheduled to be sent to the region on February 1st. A decision on the launch of a new EU naval operation aimed at protecting merchant ships in the Red Sea from ongoing Houthi attacks is expected at a meeting of EU foreign ministers on February the 19th, with the operation itself expected to begin at the end of February. The Saxony-class frigates are equipped with American ship-based Mark 41 vertical missile launch systems capable of launching SM-2 Block 3A extended-range missiles and RIM 162 ESSM medium-range missiles. So this German frigate is no joke, guys. It can launch the SM-2 missiles, which are capable of intercepting ballistic missiles, guys. Okay, so some serious firepower being moved to the Red Sea ahead of this EU naval operation to protect ships in the Red Sea. So the EU has decided to launch their own operation, okay, because the Biden administration was dragging their feet. So now the EU is going to announce at the end of February that they're going to launch their own operation, and they're sending a German frigate to kick it off. And this warehouse in St. Petersburg that caught fire last night apparently is 70,000 square meters. So it is absolutely ginormous, and it's owned by the online store Wildberries. I don't know what that is, but a massive warehouse on fire in St. Petersburg. And look at that cloud of smoke. I mean, it's just apocalyptic. Look at that. It's like a volcanic eruption, guys. Okay, so Rome is burning. Okay, Rome is burning. Look at this cloud of smoke, guys, coming out from the horizon, just covering the whole city. This is where Putin was born and raised. How symbolic that there's this massive, ominous cloud of smoke over St. Petersburg where Putin was born and raised. I think this is a sign from God that Putin is about to get punished. And here we have another picture. Okay, look at this giant cloud of smoke coming out from the horizon. I mean, it just looks apocalyptic, absolutely insane. And we have breaking news coming in from Taiwan. The sitting vice president, Lai Ching-te, won the presidential vote. The Chinese government released a statement on the election saying, "We strongly oppose attempts at Taipei's independence. We will firmly oppose separatist activities aimed at Taiwan independence as well as foreign interference." And we know that China has been sending a massive amount of balloons to Taiwan. They sent 2 balloons yesterday and several warplanes and naval vessels. So I don't know if China's going to invade Taiwan now because this guy won. He was the front runner. He supports Taiwan independence. Okay, he won by a pretty big margin. He was very popular there in Taiwan. He got over 40% of the vote. His closest rival was like 10% behind him. So it's possible China could do something crazy now. As soon as today or tomorrow or next week, they could try to launch some kind of attack on Taiwan before he gets sworn in and before he has a chance to really make any big changes in Taiwan. And here's his rivals. So you could see that he beat his rivals by a good margin. Okay. So absolutely crazy situation over there. And we have an earthquake swarm taking place in Oklahoma City right now. We've had 6 earthquakes since last night, just north of Oklahoma City near Edmond, Oklahoma. Okay, look at this, guys. 6 earthquakes here, all of them with a shallow depth of only 6.5 kilometers or so. The first one was a 3.2 magnitude. Then there was a 4.4, which they downgraded to a 4.3. Then there was a 2.5. Then there was a 2.6. Then there was another 4.4 early this morning, and they downgraded it to a 4.1 now. And then there was another 2.7 not too long ago. So this was late last night and early this morning. So something's going on over here, guys. I hope it's not the New Madrid fault. And here's a screenshot that I took from last night because I had a feeling they were going to downgrade these. And here you can see 4.4 at 06:36 hours on January the 13th, 4.4. Okay. And then a 4.4 at 22:46. Okay. Just before midnight, a 4.4. And then look what they did today. They downgraded the first 4.4 to a 4.3 and the second 4.4, the one early this morning, to a 4.1. Okay, but there was another earthquake at 7:55 in the morning. I'm guessing that's Central Time. But check this out, guys. There's some kind of swarm going on here just north of Lake Arcadia. So if anybody out there is watching this from Oklahoma City, please let me know what you experienced. You can use the contact form on my website. That's NYPrepper.com. Click on contact and just let me know what you experienced last night and this morning from these quakes, because this seems to be pretty serious, guys. It's not just one isolated quake. We have 6 quakes here officially reported by the USGS. And probably, I'm sure there were more than just 6. This is just what they reported. Okay. So something's going on over here. I hope it's not connected to New Madrid, but it's very possible that it is connected to New Madrid. And for those of you guys who are not aware, the New Madrid fault line is a massive fault line in the middle of the country here in the U.S. near New Madrid, Missouri. And over 100 years ago in the 1800s, there was a massive 7.0 plus earthquake at the New Madrid, and it was so strong that it caused buildings in New York City to collapse. There were church towers that were collapsing as far away as New York City, and it caused the Mississippi River to flow in the opposite direction for a short period of time. The Mississippi River was flowing north instead of south towards the Gulf. Okay, so that was a massive earthquake. You can read a lot more about it. Massive damage from that earthquake, and we are overdue for a big earthquake from the New Madrid fault line. Okay, scientists have been saying for a very long time that we are overdue for a huge earthquake from the New Madrid. Okay, so get prepared, guys. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a 25% off sale on their 4-week emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you have to go to preparewithnYPrepper.com. And again, that's 25% off of their 4-week emergency food supply. That's a $60 discount. And the food supply includes over 2,000 calories per day, up to a 25-year shelf life. It's packed into 2 rugged buckets and weighs 38 pounds total. Free shipping is included. And what's great about this is you have 4 weeks of food in just 2 buckets. You can easily put that anywhere. And if you have to bug out, you can easily throw that in your vehicle. Now, My Patriot Supply also has a general store where they sell pretty much any prepping and survival related product you could imagine. To get to their general store, you have to go to the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the preparewithnyprepper.com webpage. You click on that logo and it takes you to their general store, and you can see they have pretty much anything you could imagine. They have potassium iodide at a great price. I have a few of these. They also have survival bars, survival seeds, water filters, solar generators, anything you can imagine. So check out preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. And here we have some footage coming out of Belgorod, Russia. This is a border city in Russia, right on the border with Ukraine. And it was attacked by Ukrainian drones and missiles over New Year's and just after New Year's. And now they're putting up all these concrete blocks and sandbags everywhere in the city. So this is very concerning, guys. And I already told you a few days ago that the Russian government has begun evacuating people out of Belgorod. They evacuated children from Belgorod. They've evacuated hundreds of people from Belgorod. Now they're putting up sandbags and concrete blocks everywhere. So they're preparing for an expansion of the war with Ukraine, okay? They're preparing for Belgorod to become a frontline city. That's what this is, okay? They're expecting the war in Ukraine to intensify, and Belgorod is going to become a frontline city, basically, and there's going to be fighting going on, potentially even in Belgorod, with Ukrainian forces trying to enter Belgorod. So it's coming, guys, okay? Get prepared. The situation in Ukraine is going to get worse and worse this year. Russia and Ukraine are drafting 500,000 men each to go to the front lines. Okay, Zelensky announced that he was going to draft 500,000 people, and Putin announced that he was going to draft 617,000 people. Guys, that is just staggering. That's double the amount of troops that they've already committed to the war so far. Okay, so they're both doubling down. Zelensky and Putin are doubling down. You know why? Because there's a presidential election coming up at the end of the year here in the US, and the outcome of that election is going to have a huge effect on the war for Putin and for Zelensky. Okay, because if, let's say, someone like Trump or Nikki Haley get elected, they're going to be a lot tougher on Russia than Biden, okay? So from Putin's standpoint, it's a little bit of uncertainty. You know, right now he has certainty. He knows that Biden's not going to really do anything super tough, that he's just going to maintain the status quo, give Ukraine the bare minimum to hold the front lines, give them artillery shells and air defense, but really nothing monumental. But if there's a new candidate like Nikki Haley or even Trump, they could change the whole dynamic, okay? They could give Ukraine weapons that they didn't have before. It could change everything, okay? Maybe they're not going to announce what they give to Ukraine like this administration has been announcing in detail every single weapon we've been giving them, which is just totally stupid, okay? When Trump was in office, he never announced what he was doing or what he was giving people. It was all a secret until suddenly a massive Moab would go off somewhere in Afghanistan, or Soleimani would just suddenly get taken out. Okay, so Putin sees uncertainty here, and so he wants to capitalize on potentially the last few months that he has to make serious gains in Ukraine. And same thing with Zelensky. It's possible that the next candidate, it's possible that the next president might not give aid to Ukraine, okay? So for both of them, it's a stressful time. And here we have a picture of a Somalian fighter that was detained by Ukrainian forces. He was fighting for Russia, okay? And this is significant because in the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and 39, it says that the North African countries are going to align themselves with Russia in the latter days to attack Israel. And the Bible specifically mentions the Horn of Africa, that the Horn of Africa is going to align with Russia, and then they're going to attack Israel during the tribulation period. They're going to violate a peace treaty that Israel signs. And then Russia and the Horn of Africa, North Africa, and the Middle Eastern Muslim countries, they're all going to get together and launch a surprise attack on Israel. So we're already seeing the beginning stages of that, okay? And Turkey launched a massive attack on Kurdish positions in Syria and Iraq last night, hitting an oil depot, caves, bunkers, and shelters. The Kurdish Defense Ministry claims it was a response to a Kurd assault on a Turkish base that killed 9 Turkish troops. Okay, so Turkey launching a very aggressive attack on the Kurds in Syria and Iraq. Guys, why is Turkey even in NATO? I really don't understand it. Okay, they're against the Kurds. The Kurds are our allies. They support Putin. We gave them like 60 nukes. We need to kick them out of NATO and take our nukes back, okay? And here we have an article from Politico stating that Sweden is going to be deploying 2 new submarines into the Baltic Sea. So very interesting. And apparently France is going to be building 42 new Rafale fighter jets for their Air Force now. So we can clearly see that NATO countries are preparing for a war with Russia. Okay, 42 fighter jets for the French Air Force. That is a significant amount of fighter jets, guys. Sweden adding 2 more submarines to their fleet to patrol the Baltics. We had the defense minister of Denmark a few weeks back saying that Denmark needs to prepare for a war with Russia and that Russia is going to attack NATO and people need to stockpile emergency supplies, okay? And NATO believes that the war in Ukraine will not end in 2025. We should prepare for the fact that Russia's war against Ukraine will last for a long time and may not end even in 2025, NATO Deputy Secretary General Mircea Guiona said. Okay, so they're preparing for the long haul, but a lot of experts say that it's not going to last that long because it's going to escalate into a direct conflict with NATO. Okay, some Polish generals were saying that Russia could attack NATO inside of the next 3 years. And I believe that. I think even within the next year or two, okay? I think that even the end of this year, Russia could attack the Baltic countries or Poland or Finland, okay? Before the new president here in the U.S. gets sworn in, there's that lame duck period. That would be the perfect opportunity to cause chaos and make a move between 2 presidents getting changed, okay? And the situation between Hezbollah and Israel continues to escalate every day. Today, there was more direct fire from Lebanon launched towards Israeli barracks. And Israeli warplanes launched a raid on the outskirts of the town of Yarin in Lebanon. And yesterday, in my update, I showed you guys some pictures of the Israeli front line in northern Israel. They have tanks there. They have trench lines. Okay, they're preparing for an all-out war with Hezbollah. I think it's coming, guys. As soon as Israel basically finishes the majority of their operation in Gaza, they're going to focus on Hezbollah. Okay, that's going to be the next front. And the Israeli chief of staff said Hezbollah may turn the entire territory of Lebanon into a combat zone. That is very ominous, guys. Okay, very ominous. And the Israeli chief of staff also said, we are preparing for war in the north and are constantly raising the level of our capabilities. We carry out our work freely in Lebanese airspace and we inflict a heavy price on Hezbollah. basically saying that they fly their jets over Lebanon and that they're attacking Hezbollah positions. But very ominous words there, saying that Israel's preparing for war in the north. And Netanyahu said that there are weapons entering Gaza through the Philadelphia axis, which is the border of Gaza and Egypt. And he said, "We will not end the war without closing this loophole. We are examining our options there. There is a possibility of military action on the Philadelphia axis due to the existence of a gap there. So he wants to send troops to the Egypt border with Gaza so he can seal that off so there's no more equipment and weapons being smuggled in through there." He also said that this is our war against the Iranian axis of evil, Hamas and Tehran's Houthi proxies. Wow, calling Iran out by name, the Iranian axis of evil. He nailed it right on the head. He also said there is no alternative but absolute victory over Hamas. We will continue the war until we achieve the goals of eliminating Hamas and recovering the detainees. And he said, tomorrow we will pass a budget to continue the war. And Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is apparently still in the hospital and he's in good health, but there's no specific date for his release. He just had surgery on his prostate. He had prostate cancer, and apparently they removed his prostate. And a Finnish politician has collected the required 120 signatures for a petition to strip Hungary of its voting rights in the EU Council. Petri Sarvamaa proposes to apply the procedure against Hungary in accordance with Part 2 of Article 7 of the EU Treaty. It provides for the possibility of suspending certain rights, including voting in the EU Council, against a state that has repeatedly violated EU values. We are one step closer to depriving Orban of his voting rights. Next, it would be very important to assess the final overall support for the idea of the petition in the plenary session, the deputy said. Okay, so they might strip Viktor Orban of his voting rights in the EU. And here we have some footage coming from the Ukrainian-Romanian border, and we have Romanian farmers here blocking one of the border crossings with tractors and trucks. Looks like they were inspired by Germany and Poland and Slovakia, and they're basically upset that the Ukrainian farmers and Ukrainian truckers are out competing them. So they're blocking this border crossing today. Very interesting. And the commander of the Ukrainian Air Force apparently asked the U.S. for A-10 Warthogs and Apache helicopters, okay? So they want some serious firepower. We currently have a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane up in the air off the East Coast. It just went off the continental shelf, and it's out here near the Hudson Canyon. This is their favorite spot. Happens to be one of the best tuna fishing areas in the country, actually. So these planes are responsible for communicating with our nuclear forces and disseminating attack options and launch orders to them. So that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back this evening with another update, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon below so you get notified when I post these updates. And until then, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.